Hello, I'm going to tell you how to install my plugin for labeling different regions of interest and then start using it today. So the first thing you need to do is take the ROI labeler file, which is the plugin itself, navigate to your Fiji folder, into plugins, and just drag it in there, or copy it in there even. There you go, so it's now in there. And that'll mean the plugin is in the menu when you run ImageJ. The plugin, like the FRETENATOR plugin, does have a couple of dependencies. Helpfully they're the same dependencies, so if you've already installed those, you just need to run an update. So click Help and Update. It'll run through and find anything that you check through all your plugins to see if they're all up to date, which will take a minute. If there are plugins to update, they'll appear here. If you haven't already installed Klidge, you need to click Manage Update Sites and check that these two boxes are ticked. You should then be able to run the update, and once that's run, you'll need to close ImageJ and open it back up again. If you've got a lot of updates, it might take a couple of minutes to install. Right. Now that everything is run, if I click plugins, it should be, well, it's actually down the bottom here where you can't quite see it because of a bug in because of the bug in the menu system. But there'll be a plugin there labeled ROI labeler that you should be able to run it. Otherwise, you can type into this box ROI labeler and it will come up there if your ImageJ is up to date. So I'm going to open 3 files that we can analyze with the labeler. Results. Okay, so what I've got here is I've got a label map file. I'm just going to change the LUT on that to glass B on dark. This is just so it's nice and clear, and then I'm going to pick another lookup table for this one. So this is the emission ratio, and this is the label map. And then this is the data that was generated during the analysis. And you see you've got your frame, your label, your emission ratio, and then a load of other statistics and stuff. So what we need to do now is we need to select the image that we're using to label, which is the label map, and then we run the ROI labeler. I'm going to have to run it from here. And something like this should happen. So you'll get up 3 different boxes with images in them, and the ROI labeler box itself, and you should be able to scroll through here and see your entire route. Now you can then take this label preview and you can draw sections ROIs on it like this, and then you can hit for instance label 2, and it will label all of the nuclei in that section with label 2. There are 2 different ways of doing this. You can either do it on a substack or a single slice. So if we do the same on a single slice, what you'll see, if I hit label 3, is you see you've just got a line of nuclei that are labeled with label 3, which is this sort of teal color, whereas all of the rest of the ones in that area are still label 2, which is the pink color. So I'm going to switch that back to stack. So yeah, this is quite easy. You can still do all of your regular image J things like image edit, selection. Where's the button? Specify. So you could, for instance, take a it's all scaled, so you could do a 100 by 100 box if you wanted, for example, and label things using that. If you were after a specific section, like the 100 microns just behind the QC, for example, you could label those with label 4. Nice and easy. You can also use the line tool. So if you double click the line tool, you should be able to alter the width of it. If you alter it to about 20 and then right click it and you can select freehand line, you should be able to then just draw on your image. And because this is set to Substack at the moment, I could, for instance, draw along the epidermis on the side of the root here and then give that label 5 and then do the same on the other side. Oops, which is all very easy when you're not talking. And now all of those nuclei there are all labeled with label 5. You don't have to, it doesn't have to be the whole stack or just a slice though. You can also use substacks. So if you wanted, for instance, if you said, okay, well, I want to label everything below this point, which is slice 41, you could hit the set top, and you see this top has gone down to the, well, it's actually 41, this hasn't updated. So this will go from 41 to 94, and you could then select, for instance, this area and give that label 6. And you see everything below slice, all the ROI below slice 41 have been labeled with label 6. And likewise, you can alter these things manually, so you can say, you can move them around, and there's a quick button to set it back to the whole stack again. So yeah, there's a set top, set bottom. You can have up to 10 different labels. The colors correspond to this bar here. I'm just going to set them all to label 1 again, which is yellow. There we go. And then I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to label from around, a label from here back, and give that label 2. And then I'm probably going to give this bit exactly here as label 3. You know, this is very rough and ready, but you could you can see that around here the nuclei start getting further and further apart, signifying the end of the meristematic zone, and that they're entering the transition zone, and here's the elongation zone. You could then click OK, and then you can change the names that will appear in your file for what these different things are. So label 0 is you can ignore, that's just the black background. So you could actually write background here. Label 1 you could call meristem. Label 2 you can call EZ, and label 3 we'll call TZ. You can then use this to quantify a given image. So you could set the emission ratio image if you haven't got a results table, or you can use it to quantify a results table that you've already got saved. So here's the one I loaded up, which is this the results from this file. You change this to results table and you click OK, and it'll spit out a new results table, and except all of the nuclei have their corresponding labels added to the file. So you can then sort it by this and get out your different averages for your different sections of the root. Thank you. And that's about it. Let me know if you have any issues. I'm sure there's a couple of bugs in there, but I'm not entirely sure what they are yet. So let me know. Thank you very much.